Hello, friends. Welcome back to the Kind Regards podcast. I am your host, Zamiwe Mwape. We've come to the end of season 2, and before we get into the last conversation, I just want to very warmly thank each and every person that's come along on this journey so far. From the guests I've had the privilege of interviewing to each and every listener, as well as my editor who works with me behind the scenes to make everything come to life. I just want to say a big thank you. Engaging with you all has been extremely rewarding and fulfilling in a way that I'm not even sure I can fully express. Now, before I get misty-eyed, let's get back into our last discussion of the season. We're continuing our conversation with Mwansa Chambalile, who is an engineer and serves as a senior building inspector at the Lusaka City Council by day and an entrepreneur outside of that. Mwansa is the founder of the Black Wallet ZM, a business that sells an actual black wallet designed to help with budgeting and financial discipline. Her business also facilitates money transfers between Zambia and China, all the while offering consultancy and training services to empower African and Zambia's businesses in navigating trade with Chinese suppliers. She is also the founder of the health and fitness brand, Your Body Goal, which promotes self-care through health, nutrition, and fitness through its products and services. In this segment of our discussion, we get into how she juggles the multiple hats she wears and the importance of truly viewing oneself as an employee, even in your own business. She also shares the skills and habits she's picked up from her time in China and her work in the public sector that serve her entrepreneurial pursuits. She also shares some of the challenges and the risks that she's faced with running a product-based business that is reliant on imports. Before we jump into the conversation, I just want to remind you to please rate the podcast, leave us a comment, and engage with us on social media. It helps us a whole lot more than you may know. Without further ado, let's jump back into it. I am keen to know, A, how you are handling doing all of this that you have going on with basically, I think, 3 businesses, a master's, and managing work. I'm curious to know how you're handling that. And I'm also curious to know what skills you've attained in the workplace that have been beneficial to your entrepreneurial journey.
That's a good question. How I'm managing it is firstly delegating work and building a strong team, obviously in all the companies, what I am going to work on, what they are working on. I always say in my workplace, I'm never a boss. I am not a boss, I'm an employee. So the same way I show up for work, I'm required to show up in my hours to fill in the gap for my businesses. So that creates a balance. And right now I'm on a leave for my master's. So at least that gives me the chance to work on my school and also to work on my business at the same time. My master's is in China, so there's that remote work. You're in China, you have to come back, check maybe a week or 2, and you go back. So what I can, we pre-record most of the things that we have to post. We plan ahead. So right now, October, we are planning for 2025. So the month of October is planning 2025. So when the time comes, I need to focus on my school. I know my team already has a calendar. What's going on social media? Which marketing events are we going for? What needs to be done here? What is it that we are introducing this season? What is it that we are launching in terms of activewear? So planning ahead has really helped me a lot in managing everything. And for me, that I say is a secret weapon, because if, for example, we planned our social media posts for October, November, and even December, and in November, I happen to be very busy, I'm sorted, I'm consistent, and I'll still make my sales. So planning is really a secret weapon that we really can leverage on planning ahead. Your second question was with regards to working in the corporate side. What skills have I attained? More than anything, I haven't taken working for other people for granted to say, I have my own thing. Do you know who I am? I can do ABCD. I heard someone say, I can feed you from 1 to 30.
Oh, wow.
Do you know who I am? But it's just the humility in learning the system, learning structures on a corporate level, because that's a government institution. There are obviously measures that require the public sector and the government itself. And for me, that's like the best place to be in terms of learning structure, systems that have been there maybe for years. When do you let go of them? So I'm learning and watching closely, like what works better in a business, what doesn't, in terms of structure, in terms of system, in terms of managing resources, in terms of what really the government sector versus the private sector, how they can still coexist, and just learning to be a worker still for me. Because at the end of the day, like I said, the business still requires me to be an employee. So if you can't submit to another person, how will you submit to your own? I really enjoy my time there. It's not easy, of course, because, you have to juggle this and that, but it's been a learning curve in terms of systems, a learning curve in terms of budgeting measures, management of resources. Yeah.
Lovely. I'm glad you mentioned that you enjoy being there, because I was going to ask you, like, your businesses sound like...
Do you enjoy?
Not so much about do you enjoy. My question was going to be, why haven't you quit your job? Because it seems like from the outside looking in, your businesses are growing and they seem like...
We'll get there.
They could support you. So, yeah, it's because you enjoy it. You also mentioned that your time in China had you picking up certain habits that have been beneficial to you even now. What are those habits?
Firstly, workaholics. Hello.
Yeah, I know they can grind, those people, hey?
Yes, they are machines, please. And one thing that, like, the school system is structured in a way that if Friday was a public holiday, you're going to class on Saturday.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Where's the fun in that?
I know. Like, why?
No days off.
Yes. The most famous days off would be the Chinese New Year, then the National Year, which is like from 1st to 7th. Those ones are kind of like exempted. But for the other days, you have to make up. So if my supervisor, if my teacher was away, teacher, for us, we call them Lao Shi, which means teacher. It's not like lecturer. So when I say teacher, it's not primary school teacher. For us, it's like Lao Shi, which is translated teacher. So now we've learned a new word. Let's use Lao Shi.
Lao Shi. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let's say your Lao Shi was not going to be able to take a lecture on Monday and Tuesday. He will make it up. He'll tell you we'll have the class on Saturday and Sunday from this time to this time, or we'll have it on Saturday in the night. So we can do 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's when I'm free. So that level of commitment towards your work is something that I have picked up. Come rain, come sunshine. Maybe today I'm not fine, but I'll make up for the days I was away from my business. And I think that has been a greatest pick up from the culture, and just being consistent at what you do.
I love that. Okay, let me not say I love that, because I am big on balance and wellness.
Yeah.
Because I've had a run-in with burnout. I actually spoke about it on one of my podcast episodes. So, I love the work ethic.
But always take a break.
Always take a break. Always take care of yourself. And I hope that's something that you're doing, especially since you're pioneering health and fitness.
For sure. I do have my rest times. I do have times when I take vacation. I personally don't take my days off for granted. I've taken every Mother's Day I can at work when I have to. And the same for my work. I know what refreshes me. I know adrenaline helps me in my creativity. I know gym keeps my brain flowing. So it's incorporating little things that will sustain me longer. I don't have to work 1 month straight then rest, but then I incorporate things every week. I'll do a massage in a week. I'll go out maybe for lunch with my friends. I'll say Thursday after work, I'm doing a movie just to get off the load of work. So yes, self-care. I'm really big on self-care. Like I said, and just finding ways of balancing work and my personal health.
And for those who are listening and may not know what Mother's Day is, in Zambia, basically the law allows women to take 1 day off of work every month. No explanation, no questions asked. And, legally they can't really stress you out about taking that day off. I feel like we can't talk about entrepreneurship without discussing the challenges of being an entrepreneur, especially in the Zambian or African context. So what have been some of the challenges or the most challenging part about being an entrepreneur in Zambia and in Africa?
That's such a deep question because my business is related to culture. Like we don't have the culture or the background of personal self-care in the sense of health and fitness. It's a new wave. It's a new trend. All we knew is take your shima, eat anyhow, enjoy. You've got a pot belly. Yes, I've got a pot belly too. It's like life is too short. So my business models are really a new wave in terms of culture, and they really have to be really well communicated. So you have to really educate. Why should I work out? There are now tummy tucks. It's easy. I can get a surgery. There are now waist trainers. There are now shortcuts to losing weight, shortcuts to building confidence. I can go the cosmetic way. So mine is really culture targeted in terms of you can build confidence. Your confidence comes on personal self-care. So for the context in Zambia, it has been challenging in that it's a new industry and I'm trying to penetrate through the biasness of gym is for girls. Oh, you go to the gym. Why don't you look skinny? If you go to the gym, you have to look a certain way, but it's not about the looks. It's about the health. That has been a challenge. And yesterday I was even having a conversation about it to say, I'm really proud of the evolution, especially with the many marathons we've had here in Zambia this past quarter, close to the end of the year, the APSA, etc. And in the morning, you're driving, you're seeing people running. So it's a new trend, which this year has really been so good in terms of events, in terms of even ourselves. Somebody will buy an activewear because they're going for the marathon, because they're starting the gym. So from challenge, now it's becoming like a community base. But in the initial stages, people won't understand what you're doing. Oh, you sell gym clothes. Oh, okay, cool. Then when you come to the Black Wallet, you're educating people on building generational wealth. Remember, there has been a culture of, it's a translation in Bemba, my own papa, right? Nainenka papa. Easy translation, meaning if your parents take care of you, you are supposed to take care of them. But then what happens with your family that you are building? Remember, I talked about building a generational legacy. What is it that you will do different? Or what is it that we can change about our model culture? Black tax is real. I had a friend of mine who got a loan because her mom constantly kept on saying, my friend's daughter bought her a car when she started working, So the culture then sometimes can cause you to get into debt. You're seeing people drive luxurious cars, and because that's the trend, it's something I'm proud of. Do you know I drive an Allion 2010, and this year I took money. I was driving a Mercedes before, an ML3.
Oh, really?
Something, yes. And I switched to an Allion because I'm trying to maximize on my movements with fuel. Because the car I had before, the car I had before was 3.5 liters. And the car I'm driving now is 1.5 liters. You look at the amount of gas I was burning and the many errands I was doing then. I was being realistic. Why am I driving a big car that will burn my pockets? I'm not trying to please anyone. I'm trying to get as much as I can going. So I'm comfortable with the Allion. If you see me, the owner of a boutique, it's even branded, by the way, easy marketing.
This is a woman about her business. Oh my goodness. I feel like it's not an easy decision to downgrade from a Mercedes to an Allion.
Yeah. So there was that downgrade. And even when your seat is heavily branded, I'm pulling up for your birthday, I'm in an alien, I'm good. People will take pictures, they'll call you after. I saw you driving, So the alien was like a transition. You know what? Let me buy an alien. And then I love me some Mercedes. Doesn't mean I don't like it, no. So I was like, I'll buy a Mercedes at the end of the year. I'm like, had my money ready. I'm about to buy it. Then I was like, no, let's launch his body go. Let's do it better. So culture-wise, we are seeing more of the Instagram highlight, the people living luxuriously, but they're in debt. Nobody will tell you the truth to say, hey, young lady, the reality of it is I'm not sleeping at night because I need to pay for this Mercedes you are seeing. So with the black wallet, just communicating when somebody signs up for consultation, the first thing they would say is, I want to start a business like so and so. And I'm like, what do you really want? Before so and so, are you doing it because you saw so and so? Let's narrow it down. What can you do better? So you realize for me, culture-wise, like it's really been a difficult thing to constantly do in terms of in the context of my business, because it's not what people are used to. People are okay with getting a loan to buy a car. And I'm like, start the business with the money you have. When the business picks up, get a loan to fund your business and begin to pay it off, for example. So you are getting a loan because you understand where your money is going, when it will come, and you already have a prototype in the marketplace. So culture-wise, it's really been a challenge. Even the black wallet, getting it to people. Some people will be like, me, I sit down to calculate how much I'm spending, then I'm greedy.
No, you're just trying to be on top of your money.
Yeah, you're trying to be on top of your money. And even with the black wallet, it's a manual approach. So you're not expecting everything to be automated. It's not like an app. So you're really going the hard way to build a really strong habit towards cutting down on your expenses. So communicating that to people, it's been challenging, but I do believe, come on, nothing is impossible. Nothing is impossible. And we are growing. That's the wonderful thing about it.
Have you faced any challenges or risks that have materialized in terms of being a product-based business with moving goods from China into Zambia? Has there been any roadblocks or challenges at all with that?
Yes, for sure. Firstly, we don't have a port here in Zambia. So everything is being imported through Tanzania, then via Tanzania into Zambia, or through South Africa or Mozambique. So it's not like I will buy a product today. I plan on it arriving in the next 60 days if it's coming by sea, as they would guide. Maybe the shipping companies would guide. They would say your goods will arrive in 60 days. And sometimes they've gone 90 days already. So the shipping process sometimes has been really cumbersome, and it's been a challenge. I wish, in my own view and in my future, just to get things produced locally. It cuts down on the expenses, the time you have to wait. This year it happened. We ordered something for winter, sent it by air, which is even more expensive. And then the goods arrive in August.
What the hell? That means you can't sell that. I mean, you can, but not to the extent that you expected.
Yes, so we keep the stock and we have to wait. And maybe in the process of waiting, it's out of fashion. By the time you're launching it next winter, it's something that you can't use anymore. So that has been a challenge. Sometimes I speak Mandarin. So in terms of communication, it's not so much of a problem if I want to order goods, have them delivered. But in the initial stage, because I started Habodigo during COVID, so the last phase of COVID, I was ordering everything online. I was meeting these suppliers for the very first time. So most of what they sent me, misplaced logos, but we planned this together, misplaced logos, wrong logos. The logos were literally, it's too hot, it's melting. So it's not so easy, the import and export, but how I've tried to make sure the risk is managed is sometimes if you're trying out a new supplier, you limit your quantities so that you're able to see if they got what you wanted right, and maybe you can communicate, always going for samples. I'm big on the material and the quality. So having a sample, you communicate, even though they won't be able to send it to me, they can send it to my friend maybe in China. They confirm, verify, and I'm able to buy in bulk. So that has been a challenge, and just how to manage the risk in terms of doing business like that.
I see. And my final question to you is that given how legacy, generational wealth, impact, passion have been recurring threads throughout this conversation, I want to know what success will look like for you. What would that moment look like where you feel like I have arrived? And I mean this both as Mwansa the person and the businesswoman.
That's a good question. I had a conversation before just to guide why I'm responding like this. I told my sister, she has a child, right? And I told her, do you know what my mind has done? I know this will sound wrong, but I've put my nephew in a cage.
Ma'am.
I know, it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
And each time I'm not consistent, the rope falls in the sea. So it's like we're lowering him. So if I misbehave, he would drown.
That's an interesting mental visual.
Yes. So I'm then telling myself that I want to be able to finance my generation. Those ahead of me, you're on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But the people coming up behind me, I want to lay solid foundations, especially in terms of business. I want my nephew to be able to run the business. I want my nephew's children, my children, to be able to run the business. So scaling as a business, long-term investments in terms of property. I want them to have a comfortable life, but at the same time, manage what is ahead. So all I'm doing is just building a foundation. So success to me is a scale of the business such that it's managed 3 or 4 generations after me. Then I will count to say, God, I'm good. If it can run 3 generations, I will be more than happy to call myself a success. Not only that, if I'm able to pass on my experiences, my knowledge to another person aside my own family, I'm able to have conversations. Somebody hears this and there's a turnaround to say, I did this because of you. That to me is a measure of success. It's how many people can turn around to be on the same journey. That's where I begin to count my success. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 5 who are business people and I've seen their businesses grow to a scale of the trade kings, then I will call myself successful. Not just my business. It's a journey to building a generational legacy, something that will outlive me. The knowledge, the conversations that I have, can they impact and cause a turnaround? That's how I would really love to measure my success, the impact that I bring to community, the growth that I would bring to a business, the inspiration that I will bring to cause you to act, the push, the force that I will bring to inspire you to take action today.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. I've learned so much. So in closing, do you have a quote for our listeners to take away? And do you have a call to action for them to implement after listening to this lovely conversation we've had today?
Thank you. A quote that I love is, do it happy, do it sad, do it every day, just do it. And emphasis of this quote is, we are all prone to feel emotions. We are prone to feel them and are allowed to feel it. But in the process of feeling it, just keep doing it. There are times that I feel and I have the right not to show up because something didn't go the way I wanted it to go. Or I feel that maybe God, the universe, are not rewarding me yet, but consistency. Do it whether you're happy, do it whether you're sad, do it However you feel, just keep doing it. You realize there has been a consistency throughout the process. I love the example of Usain Bolt, right? Is it 9 seconds race? Is it 9 or 10 seconds? I'm not quite sure. The race that he ran, you know how many years it took him to prepare for that run? It was whether he was sad, whether he was moody, whether he lost a loved one, whether he lost money. It's the consistency. Had I quit when I first lost my money, I wouldn't be having this conversation with you. Maybe I would have been depressed. But through it all, however painful, at my pace, I try to be consistent. So do it. Just do it.
Just do it. I love that. That's a beautiful quote. And I love how it basically ties in everything we discussed. You talked about how you just make sure that you keep going. So thank you for that. So do you have a separate call to action, or was that an all-encompassing one?
Call to action. Wow. Let's do something different, especially if you're African. Think different. Think outside the box. Our time has come. If you're also not African, our time is now. You are young. You're part of a new generation. Whether you're a millennial, whether you're a post-COVID child, eventually you will hear this. What is it that you're going to do for your generation? Elon Musk was Elon Musk for his generation. Steve Jobs was Steve Jobs for his generation. There was Nelson Mandela, and there'll be greater people. If you want to be a part of building a generational legacy, it starts with you, not with me. And so in the decisions I make every single day, I'm thinking of whether the world will know me as Mwansa, the renewable energy, Mwansa, health and fitness. What is it that generations to come will know me for? Forget the fame. There are many people who've had the greatest impact on this earth, yet we don't even know their names. But in their period of life, everyone who encountered them can testify to say this person lived a purpose-driven life. So not to shy away from enjoying life, but what is it that you would wake up every single morning to do so that you make a difference, that you were here on this earth? And it's a core of reflection, you know. So much is happening in the world, so many solutions, so many businesses. It could be to love, it could be to care, whatever thing that inspires you every single day. I'm not asking you to become an entrepreneur today, but the thing that drives you the most, how can another generation benefit from it? So think about that thing and do it with excellence.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Mwansa. I've said this before and I'll say it again. This conversation left me fired up and wanting to do more to meet my goals and have an impact on those around me. And I hope it did the same for you. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with a friend, family member, or colleague who you think would find it valuable. Thank you once again for rocking with me throughout season 1 and 2 of the Kind Regards podcast. Make sure you've got your notifications turned on so you're the first to know when we return next season. You can connect with Mwansa on LinkedIn and Facebook at Mwansa Chambalile, and on Instagram at Mwansa Chambalile. And of course, don't forget to follow the Kind Regards podcast on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. I wish you an energetic week ahead. Kind regards, Zamiwe.